Hi, I'm Diana from griefgirlfriend.com, and today I'm going to bring you part 3 to the complicated grief. So today I wanted to talk about, other ways that are keeping us stuck in our grief. That was one of the definitions of complicated grief. So thinking about what are some ways that could keep you stuck. Definitely if you have any issues with addiction. We know that addiction can keep us stuck in our grief. So whether it's, drugs, some kind of substance, or if it's an alcohol situation, that those are things, self-medicating gets us stuck in our grief. We also know that if there's other psychiatric issues going on, we call those comorbidities in grief. Those can keep us stuck in our grief. So whether it's anxiety disorder, depression, clinical depression, whether it's bipolar or something even more serious, those things can keep us stuck in our grief. So why is that? One of the reasons is we can't focus on our grief work when we're working on other issues, or the other issues seem to be more prominent in our thinking or our behaviors or our activities of daily living. So for those who are going through the grief process, we know how tiring, how fatiguing that is at the end of the day. And that's because when you're trying to just do all of your normal stuff, go to work or school and do the family and keep the house, you're still working on your grief in the back of your mind. We never really don't think about it. So it's like we're doing two jobs at once. So at the end of the day, you're exhausted. Now just imagine putting on another layer of some kind of a psychiatric illness or disorder, or some kind of substance abuse, alcohol abuse issue, something like that. That takes up a lot of time and a lot of attention. A lot of thinking goes towards that. So we don't really have the time to work on the grief. So that's something that, again, makes the grief last a long period of time. And again, this is something that could be years, because a lot of these things we struggle with for a very long time, especially like addiction issues. So what can we do about that? So my recommendation would be to definitely get, if you're dealing with addictions, let's take that. So definitely get a good addictions counselor and get a grief counselor. I know sometimes when you're in an addiction program, they'll have you with your addictions counselor and then a regular counselor. A lot of times in our community, they'll refer them to us as well. So it seems like you're doing a lot of counselors, but each has their specialty, which is key. Because I think, I certainly wouldn't know how to handle addiction stuff. So we all have our specialties in what we do. But to make you healthy and whole, that's sometimes what we need to do. It's a lot of work. If you have other comorbidities that are going on, I would definitely recommend to see a good therapist as well as a grief counselor. And there are a lot of counselors out there now who are doing clinical work and grief work at the same time, because it's now becoming recognized that the complicated grief, it can exacerbate some of these issues that we have going on, like anxiety and depression. So we need a good counselor that is comfortable going back and forth into those realms. So I think it's critical that you get the help that you need. If you're watching this video, that means that you're looking for some support. You're looking for some help or for some understanding for somebody who might be in a complicated grief situation and you don't know why they're stuck. So that's what you need to do, is you need to get some professional help in there to help get unstuck. Okay, so that was the briefest one, I think, of all the parts. But because it's so important, I really want to throw out there, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at diana@griefgirlfriend.com. And as always, you can get your own Grief It's Complicated t-shirt right there at the store. So by wearing these t-shirts, you're expressing your grief and you're educating the world about what's appropriate in grief. So go for it. Thank you.